The last time so many Americans seriously inquired about moving to Canada was during the Vietnam War, when a bunch of hippies crossed the border to avoid military service. They were called Draft Dodgers. With the political ascendancy of Donald Trump, the internet stats are showing a lot of Americans are again inquiring about moving north in the event of a Trump presidency. So I'll call them Drumpf Dodgers. Now we know that Americans like Canadians. Look at recent hit movies. Ryan Reynolds is Canadian, so is Deadpool. And we know Americans are buying millions of Nickelback records because it sure as hell isn't us. And it's often hard to tell American cities from Canadian cities, except for the more frequent use of turn signals. That's why so many American TV series are shot in Canada. Gilmore Girls, Arrow, The Flash, X-Files, Fear the Walking Dead. The last one just sounds like a day in Winnipeg. Canada is similar to the US in many ways. For example, we Canadians have also been angry with our politicians over Syrian refugees. But unlike Americans, we get angry when they aren't getting here fast enough. So as alike as our two countries are, America's hat does have some rules and customs of our own you should be acquainted with if you're thinking of relocating to the Great White North. Here are a few things you need to learn. First, some quickies. It's just hockey. It's just tuna. It's just tea, unless it's iced tea. Real beer begins with 5% alcohol. When in doubt, apologize. Curling. Ketchup chips. It's not Canadian bacon, it's back bacon. It's made from the back of a pig, not Canadians. The caramel secret is not something leaked by Edward Snowden. The response to thank you is, you're welcome, not uh-huh. We use a instead of huh. Used in a sentence, it looks like a nice day, huh? Versus, it looks like a nice day, eh? Almost every block has a community center that serves coffee. Justin Bieber. We don't like him any better than you do. Drake. Well, he's better than Bieber. Canadians invented 5-pin bowling because halfway is good enough. In a head-to-head battle of national symbols, Canada's clearly got the better euphemism. Our only gated communities are prisons. We lock up criminals, not ourselves. And it's not cold in Canada 12 months of the year. In fact, we have 2 distinct seasons. Winter and road hockey. If you're planning to settle on the East Coast, pack a second liver. If you're planning to settle in Quebec, also be aware that Quebec periodically threatens to separate from Canada, then chooses to stay put. If you've ever raised a teenager, you'll recognize the behavior. America has Captain America. Canada has Captain Canuck. Unlike Captain America, Captain Canuck was not frozen in ice because Canadians dress for the weather. Canada has 2 official languages, French and English, even though lately more people speak Chinese. You don't really need to know French, you just need to know when to press 1. Canadians, like the rest of the English-speaking world, pronounce this letter as Z, not Z. However, that is only in pronouncing the letter and doesn't affect the sound of the letter. For example, this character from Galactica 1980 is still called Dr. Z. And these are not chimpanzees. TV shows are shot here, but what's not shot here? People! Or at least a lot less. Canadians don't have the right to carry a gun, but average Canadians generally don't feel the need to carry a gun to protect ourselves from other average Canadians who have guns, because they don't have guns either. We do have occasional police shootings, so that's a little taste of home, but they don't frequently involve unarmed black people, so that may take some getting used to. Our political leader is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. If you haven't already seen him in pictures, articles, and on TV in the US, you probably have light-sensitive eyes from living under a rock. The Prime Minister has impeccable taste in friends and advisors. But Canada's head of state isn't an elected official, it's the Queen of England. But she has really nothing to do with making laws or policy. She's just a nostalgic figurehead with a castle that we put on our money. Like Disney with Mickey Mouse. In Canada, if we feel the burn, we can see a doctor. Our political leaders keep their religious beliefs to themselves, because we're already halfway to godless commies. Yes, Canada does have some socialist structures, because it's better to be compared to Denmark than Flint, Michigan. Instead of an assimilationist melting pot, Canada has a multicultural mosaic. We believe in sharing our cultures with each other. Except with white guys in dreads. They just look dirty. Though we Canadians are a little less accepting and inclusive than Americans. For example, we don't treat corporations like people. Black people in Canada are not called African Canadians, because most of them are from the Caribbean. We use the metric system, which can make things sound bigger when measured in centimeters, like a penis. Also bigger, your dollar. The US dollar is worth more in Canada, but because Canadian retailers have to buy US goods, which cost them more because of the higher US dollar, it kind of all comes out in the wash. Also on money, Canadian $1 and $2 currencies are coins, which means a stripper's G-string has a $5 minimum. As for TV, not to worry. All your TV networks and most of your cable channels are available in Canada. And if you remember to use your former US address, you can get American Netflix illegally, like a good Canadian. And while Americans may think of Canada as America's hat, Canadians regard America as Canada's shorts. So now you know more about Canada, my friends in the US. So if you Drumpf Dodgers decide you want to come up here, don't worry about space. Canada has more landmass than the United States, but only 10% of the population, so there's plenty of place to put you. Just remember, tundra is actually a northern word for beachfront property. I'm Ed the Sock. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on, just press that frickin' button. It's not like it's the most difficult thing you'll have to do all day. And what the hell do I know? Maybe it is.